Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our last day in this Advent series. It has been awesome to walk this journey with you. I am sure you might find it a surprise if you read the poem in the email that I chose that poem for the topic New Birth and Everlasting Joy. For that poem itself seems to point to a hope and an expectation that's not yet fulfilled, and even a certain discomfort in the tension in the relationship. But it ends with this beautiful note by John Keats of open vulnerability. I hold my hand out to you. And as I was reflecting on our opening up to the experience of new birth and everlasting joy, I was reflecting as well upon the nature of relationship. It seems to me when we have an I-thou in our relationship to our personal evolution, to the fullness of all our desires, whether it's the I-thou to God, whether it's in a Buddhist sense, the I as the observer and the I as the self, small s. We are in relationship until we're not. I have oftentimes worked with people who wish to bypass the portal that relationship is in order to come to the union of self in their own being. And as I was reflecting upon this before this morning's webinar, I don't think that's possible. I think that because we are an individual and a created being, we are always in a tension of relationship until we're not. And the until we're not is something that's just simply not in our hands. New birth comes when we reach the limitations of ourselves and we reach the realization in those limitations that we cannot transcend and get to where we long to go. And in it, there is an impelling force that leads us to surrender. So surrender can be an active practice that gets us ready for new birth. And I've been hopefully cultivating that all along this series. But surrender is also the admission, not here, and not even just emotionally, but the dynamic movement within ourselves that truly 100% realizes that we cannot get there on our own. And in that realization comes awakening into new birth. Whether it's awakening in just one little event or person or issue in our lives, or whether it's the awakening of our whole being. If you read the lives of mystics, who we call saints, or if you read the lives of present day spiritual teachers or gurus, you'll always encounter at least one fundamental story where there came a point when the longing for union with the divine, there was finally a true realization that they couldn't get there. And I mean in every fiber of the being, in the unconscious, throughout the wholeness of the being. And in that realization, there is a certain giving up. But that giving up is not a resignation and is not a turning away. It's actually impelled by spirit to bring the individual to the very point where new birth can happen. And we experience what Jesus said, I wish that you had my joy so that your joy may be complete. That is what I think is being referred to. One of the great teachings in the New Testament is the Beatitudes. And Gregory of Nyssa wrote in 300 AD, "Beatitude is a possession of all things held to be good, from which nothing is absent that a good desire may want." Perhaps the meaning of beatitude may become clearer to us if it is compared with its opposite. Now, the opposite of beatitude is misery. Misery means being afflicted unwillingly with painful sufferings. So beatitude speaks about what we're coming into when we talk about new birth, the possession of all things held to be good, from which nothing is absent that a good desire may want. It's a state of being, isn't it? A state of being that as our desires arise, they are fulfilled. There is no gap between the arising of the desire and its fulfillment because we are in a place of beatitude. So beatitude is the coming into the new birth, the awakening, if you will. And Jesus's 8 beatitudes are a method and a practice that we can employ. But even when you look at the Beatitudes, you'll see they are in relationship to the world, in relationship to God, in relationship to self. And the relationship eventually gives way to the fullness of the realization. So I'm not sure where you are in your path and in your journey. But the question arises, how can you enter into relationship and see it with such holiness that it becomes the mirror, not only so that you might see your beauty, but also so that you might directly experience your limitation, so that the experience of your limitation may give way to the depth of surrender that immediately gives you what your heart longs for. We have a great gift, my friends. We have a great gift because we have the key. The key is that depth of surrender. As Deuteronomy says, "My law is not too mysterious and remote for you. It is not high up in the sky, so you must grow wings and fly to it. It is not far across the sea, so you must figure out how to build a boat and sail to it. No, it is already written upon your heart and your lips. You have only to carry it out." And we have the great assurance that the yokes we put upon our shoulders are not the yokes that lead us to the union for which we desire. We can lay down those yokes and take on the full responsibility of ourselves to awaken into our beauty, which has within it the limitation and the whew. We don't have to get there ourselves. Our beloved wishes to give it to us if we could only awaken into that depth of surrender. So for today's closing meditation, I'd like to open with the chant that opens Christmas Day so that we have that energetic, and you can let it be a place that you can relax into. And then I'm going to very slowly say the Beatitudes and give a pause so that you may repeat those words. And then the same, I'm going to end with Psalm 33. And I will give a pause so that you can repeat the phrase if you wish. All right, I invite you to close your eyes. May new birth be ours. May it be ours. A solis totus cardine, adusque terre limitem, Christum canamus principem, natum Maria Virgine, beatus auctor seculi, servire corpus induit, ut cane canem liberat, ne pederet quos condidit, caste padentis viscera, celestis intrat gratia, Vendebueye paiudat, secretaque non noverat. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Blessed are they who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. O God, you are my God, for you I long. Like a dry, weary land without water, so my soul thirsts for you. I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. Your love is better than life. My lips will glorify you. I will praise you as long as I live. In your name I will lift up my hands. My soul shall be filled as with a banquet. My mouth shall praise you with joy. On my bed I remember you. I muse on you through the night. You are my help. In the shadow of your wings I rejoice. My body clings to you. Your right hand holds me fast. May we accept every relationship in our lives. May we accept our relationship with ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions. May we accept all the human relationships, all the constructs, events, circumstances, structures, all the communities or lack of communities. May we accept our poised place in relationship to all the world. And in the acceptance, may we so see the face of God birthed in you. May the veil be pulled back so that we find ourselves impelled into the surrender that casts ourselves into the ineffable with such totality that, like Jesus, our joy may be complete. My friends, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate the season, may it be rich, rich in joy. It has been such a pleasure being with you. Blessings